Hi everyone! Today we are going to take a peek at a science experiment that, if you're able to try at home, it would be a really fun thing for you to take a peek at. This science experiment uses eggs. And the reason why we're using eggs is because we've been talking a lot about our teeth and dental health this week. And eggs have a hard outer shell, just like our teeth have hard. Well, and if you've listened to my story, we know it's the hardest substance in your body, actually. But we want to see what happens to our teeth when they are exposed to different liquids and different things that we might eat, and what that does to our teeth. So inside each one of these cups, you are going to put a hard-boiled egg and 3 different liquids. Okay, so in this cup, what I have right now is just water. This one is just water, so I've boiled the eggs already. I've put my egg in my first cup and I've added some water. Now, I had 3 plastic clear cups at home. They don't have to be clear. You can put them inside whatever cups or glasses your families would say is okay. Okay, the next one that I'm going to put in is with Coke. Okay, now I just asked some neighbors if they happen to have a can of Coke around, because I didn't have any, and they did. So I borrowed this for our experiment, and I'm going to fill up this cup with Coke. Now, you could use whatever kind of pop you have at home. Using a darker colored soda is kind of cool, because you'll see what happens in the experiment, but I don't want to tell you. Okay, so I'm then going to slowly fill up, because the bubbles sometimes come over the cup. So I'm just going to let it settle and then put in a little bit more. And I'm going to put in just enough so that my egg is covered. Keep slowly adding more until I know it's totally covered. And that should be good. Okay, the next one that I'm going to do is vinegar. So now I'm going to put my egg in and cover this one in vinegar. Now, because water and vinegar look very similar, there's a couple different ways that I could tell the difference between these using my senses that we've learned in our 5 senses. I could just look, but right now they look very similar, and I can also smell. But with vinegar, you need to be really careful when you smell, because if you get too close, it can actually burn the inside of your nose if you get really too close. So you just kind of want to do this wafting thing, and then I can tell that's vinegar. But with a Sharpie, I could actually just label and say vinegar on the cup, and then I'll know this one's vinegar. This Sharpie is kind of thin and it's hard to see, but I did write it right there. And after, I'll write it with a thicker one, so I know this one's vinegar, this one is the Coke, and this one is water. Now, if you really wanted to, you could do a 4th one with milk, but I'm just going to do the 3. But so maybe if you didn't have vinegar, you could do that one with milk, or maybe if you didn't have want to do water, you could make that one milk or whatever, just to try it. It's kind of cool. But making one of them vinegar and one of them the dark pop will make this experiment the most interesting. So now what I'm going to do with my cups is I'm just going to leave them labeled, and I'm going to put them somewhere safe where they're not going to get knocked over by anybody. You don't want younger siblings coming around or somebody not knowing what it is and then just knocking it over or throwing it away, because you need to let these eggs now sit for at least a day. Now, when I've done this experiment in the past, I've left them for probably 2 days. But it's whatever works the best for your family. So I'm going to let these sit now for a couple days, and then I'll come back and show you what I see. But scientists always make good observations, and they make something called a hypothesis. So connected to this activity is a little science page that I want you to go and fill out. So a hypothesis is a good guess, a good educated guess of what you think is going to happen. What do you think is going to happen to the egg in water What do you think is going to happen to the eggshell in the Coke? And what do you think is going to happen to the eggshell in the vinegar? Now, already I'm making some observations. I can see that there are a whole bunch of little bubbles, and they're collecting all over this egg right now in the vinegar. Are those bubbles going to do something? I'm seeing all kinds of bubbles here, and that dark color of the Coke, is that going to do something to the eggshell? And this one sitting in the water, I don't see any bubbles. I just see it sitting in regular water. I love drinking water. I've got a big bottle of it right here. What does water do for our body? What does water do for our teeth? Maybe we'll find some things out with this experiment. So make sure you go and draw what you see, label it like a scientist would, give your hypothesis, your good guess of what you think is going to happen, and then after, we're going to come back and check. Now, I'm not going to do the after part right now because that would be giving you too many answers, but next week, once this is done, I will show my eggs and what happened to them and what I'm going to do with them. Okay, now here's a little hint of something to also try. Once you've left them for a few days and you take them out to see what has happened, it might be kind of cool to also grab an old toothbrush, if your family has one that you could use, or maybe if yours is ready to be replaced, and some toothpaste, and also brush the shells and see if you see anything happen there. So there's a couple of things that you can learn from this experiment of not just what happens in these liquids, but also what happens when we regularly brush our teeth and take care of them with flossing and brushing. All right, I hope you're able to try this experiment. Don't forget to label your vinegar and your other cups to make sure you don't get them mixed up. Of course, you're not going to be drinking any of this. Put them somewhere safe, and don't forget to go and fill out the science page that goes along with this, because that's where we want to see some awesome observations and you recording any of your learning. All right, take care.